First up is Dr. Tom Weber, being presented by current Concordia men's and women's tennis head coach, Steve Anschutz.
All right, welcome everyone. I have the distinguished honor of introducing Tom. I played for him from 06 to 10, and there are so many stories I could share with you. We'd be here all night. So I think I'm gonna skip that version and tell you, well, you already know why he's here. I'm gonna tell you how he got those results and how he was an amazing coach for all the players that played under him. There's a couple qualities of Tom that really stick out to me that go hand in hand. The first one being the autonomy and flexibility that he used for us as players. I came in, and Tom right away was able to work with me on scheduling, on being flexible with anything that I needed. He was there for you, and he would put the time in for us. I know there's a couple players that had multiple sports. Not a problem. He would work with us on that. As a senior, I had the, what do you want to say, the internship. I was an education major, and I had to do my student teaching experience, in which I literally couldn't practice most of the time. A lot of coaches would say, well, if you can't practice, you can't play. Not with Tom. Tom said, we'll make it work. We'll find ways. And that allowed me to have an amazing senior year. And that was very, very important to me. So that autonomy, that flexibility that Tom provided allowed each of his players to have their own successes and be the best that they can be. And I think all of them would have amazing stories of how that happened for them. The other and even more important qualities that Tom had, which every coach shows this in different ways, but Tom, he showed it in so many ways. It's the passion and love he had for tennis. I remember the first day out at practice as a freshman, coach is watching for about 5 minutes. Next thing you know, he's in the drill with us, and he's playing, and he's loving, and he's sweating too, because he had that passion, he had that love. He loved it so much that he didn't want to sit on the sidelines and just watch. He wanted to get involved, and he wanted to play with you, and it was inspiring to see that, and it made you want to fight that much harder for Tom when you got out there for him. I also remember when you're playing in those matches for your coach and for your school and everything, Tom would always be, wherever Tom was, that was the best match happening. It could have been 6 singles, 1 singles, wherever that best match was, Tom was right there watching. Because again, that passion, that love, he just loved to watch great tennis. And it was always, I always remember getting done and saying, okay, where's Tom? All right, that's the match I want to watch, because you knew that's where the best tennis was going to be happening. And I think my greatest memory of Tom, and I think all of the other players can tell you this, is when I think of Tom Weber, I see him and I see him smiling. He was always on the sidelines watching our matches, watching our practices, just smiling. And I hope you can see that smile today, because it was that smile that just brought you joy, because you knew he was smiling because you hit a good shot, or you hit a good serve, or you did something well. And he would not only just smile, but then he would brag about you. I mean, I've never met a man more dedicated to his players and who would brag about his players more than Tom. I mean, I still remember I was down in Hilton Head. I'm playing a player ranked 22 in the nation. And I'm supposed to get wiped off the floor by this guy. And I beat that guy. And I beat him in a really close match. The guy had 14 match points against me, and I came back and won it somehow, some way. And to me, the match was over, done. I was really excited. I got the win, I got the W. But for Tom Weber, I think he talked about that for a week. You know, and that's the type of guy that he was, is he talked about his players so much. He was so excited for his players. And that's why he amassed this great record, was because he was such a proponent for his players. And it was so awesome to be under him, and now that I get to coach after him and try and live to that legacy. Really, really cool. So with everyone, I'd like to welcome up Tom and induct him into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Tom.
All right. Steve, thanks for those kind words. The rest of you alumni, you might want to take note and maybe copy a little bit. I'd like to hear that from you. Steve Anschutz, in my mind, is the best doubles player to play at Concordia University. I should say the word arguably the best tennis player, not because the players that played with him thought they were better, not the players that played before him thought they were better, but it just so happens that Coach Steve Anschutz is bringing in some very quality recruits, highly skilled, very athletic. So Steve, your best ever may be usurped by one of your recruits that you bring in. You might want to be careful about that. So back there is Russell Johnson. If you don't like what you hear today, blame him. I guess he is the one that is the cause of this whole Hall of Fame deal for me. Thank you, Russell. In my mind, Russell is the second best singles player to play at this university. Again, I should use the term arguably because there's exactly one person who would argue about Russell Johnson being the second best singles player at this university, and that would be Russell Johnson. Russell Johnson would argue and has argued interminably forever that he is the best singles player at Concordia University, Wisconsin, and he is sitting right next to, in my mind, Brian Tresetter is the best singles player to play at Concordia University, Wisconsin. This arguing back and forth, building their resumes with half-truths, lies, deceit, trying to convince the other they indeed are the best was caused the team to be entertained for hours on end. In fact, it would bring the coach to tears in laughter more than one time, which was very inconvenient because the coach was driving at the time. So that wasn't their only stick. They had many other sticks, and Russell, I believe, I actually heard Brian say he was for the boys. I'm not 100% sure of this, but I think that's the case. It's an inside joke, just another one of their sticks. Let's see. Oh, there's two old guys right next to the alumni. That's Dan Hirth and Paul Hoff. The reason I'm bringing them out is because they are the liaisons for the 50-plus community tennis players that on Tuesday I would put on my community organizer hat and I would organize doubles for the old guys to play the Concordia University doubles teams. These old guys are very good tennis players, very accomplished. Many played college tennis, all of whom probably played high school tennis, and we had drag out and very competitive matches. What the old guys brought to the court was they taught the youngsters there's more to doubles than hitting the ball hard and harder. There is much more to doubles. But more importantly, they brought to Concordia that how you're supposed to comport yourself properly on the tennis court during competitive events. Both those influences will positively affect Concordia tennis. And I'm thankful for their efforts. Other volunteers. I had 4 volunteers that helped me with Concordia's summer tennis program, one of whom was voted Coach of the Year in 2010 of all of Wisconsin, so they were very quality coaches. And through the duration of the camp, it was so highly successful, we were able to fund the spring trip for the players every one of those years. A special plate in my heart is Mark Turner. Mark Turner is a remarkable man. He is the father of the son Skip Turner, who has played an upper level of Concordia tennis all 4 years he was here. He would regularly make the trip from Eau Claire to Milwaukee to watch his son play tennis. Well, in Eau Claire, he is a high school tennis coach and a pro at the local club. Mark Turner rarely had the opportunity to watch his son play tennis. He was soon appointed on-court coach. After 2 beers, that's hard to say. on-court coach, and he would say exactly the right thing at the right time to the right player in the right circumstance to let our players compete at the highest level. His practices were remarkable. He would put us in situations, teaching the players the appropriate shots. He would build our competency, and he would make us run for 2 hours, and all the while we thought we were just playing games. So Mark Turner was truly a remarkable fellow, and anybody who's been associated with Concordia Tennis knows the last person I wish to mention is, my mommy. My mommy attended every tennis match. She accompanied the team on all traveling. She took it upon herself not only to make sure I got to bed on time and ate all my vegetables, but she fed the entire team. Anybody who knows anything about tennis, it is a nightmare trying to get the team fed when they are at tournaments. They're coming in and out, and coaches, I don't know how they do it. I didn't have to worry about it. I had my mommy, and she was amazing. So there you have it. I humbly accept this award for my mommy, Coach Grandma, Coach Turner, all of the volunteers at the summer tennis camp, and including the old boys back there. They were remarkable. But most importantly, I humbly accept this award for all the alumni who chose to play tennis at Concordia University and afford this institution great success in tennis during my tenure. Thank you.